All right, everybody, welcome in. Concrete Jungle, a New York baseball podcast, coming to you guys live from the third floor North Park building, fingerlakes1.com. Paul Russo, that's me. Man to my right, that's Kyle Evans. Man behind the scenes, working the cameras, the sound, and everything else is non-geographic smart person, Nate Sharman. Boys, welcome in. Fun weekend. You say ooh, Kyle, but, it was a rough one earlier prepping for the show for Nate.
I'm not so sure he deserved that.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sorry that I don't have Southern or California as a whole. I don't know exactly. I have not been there. I am a left coaster. I have not been off of the left coast
You realize that California
or the right
is
coast.
West Coast.
So the struggles come out. The struggles keep going here on this fine Monday morning.
I wonder who's struggling worse, Nate or the Yankees offense.
Oh, man.
Oh, what a segue!
Oh, man. Just everybody's catching strays right now, except me for a change. I'm happy about this. Man, so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to get to, today. Thursday night, myself and Nate took in a Syracuse Met game. Perhaps one of the farthest home runs I think I've ever seen hit in person occurred that game. Just
By Connor Wong?
It was
Yeah, I believe
it was Connor Wong. It was the second home run
Second
that he
home
had.
run, yeah. He let off with one too.
He cleared the stadium out in left field. So
It was
absolutely,
one-sided, wasn't it?
it was a missile. Yeah, pretty much. But that'll happen when certain pitchers are out there. So
Not the best game for RS Mets. That's for
stuff
sure.
happens. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, there's a lot to get to. The Yankees started off really good in Oakland, tapered off towards the end, including a pretty wacky game Saturday. The Mets, on the other hand, pretty much took care of business. I mean, obviously yesterday was a little bit of a hurdle, but took care of business where they needed to against Colorado, and obviously, mentioned the S-Mets, but Rochester, they dropped the series in Indianapolis. But that being said, they did have some positives come out of the weekend, all things considered. So a lot to get to. Hopefully everybody had a good one. We'll jump right in. We'll start with the New York Yankees. Thursday night was a big offensive victory for them. Really was a nice needed shot in the arm, I thought, offensively. 13-4 victory. James Tyone picked up the win. He moves to 12-4 on the year after that with a 3.89 ERA rather. James Caprillion took the loss, 3.8, a 4.88 ERA for him. Tyone, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, and 2 strikeouts. Josh Donaldson went 3 for 5 rather, 2 doubles, a walk, 3 RBIs, and 4 runs scored. And Oswaldo Cabrera, 3 for 6, a double, an RBI, and a run scored. So really collectively, the Yankees got off on a good foot Thursday. We'll have liked to see momentum carry through the weekend, obviously. We'll touch more on that, obviously, in a minute. But all things considered, Thursday was just a really good game out of the gate, and the Yankees kept momentum going throughout the entire night.
Yeah, and they really needed that. It's been a while since their offense had a game like that. I mean, 20 hits. I know it's the Oakland Athletics, but that's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those games where you needed to do that, no matter, I guess, really what. You mentioned you can only really, in this situation, play the team in front of you. But, all that being said, you go out there, and this was a good game. Obviously, Donaldson kind of needed a game like this again, it felt like. Obviously, he gets one of the highlight roles, as does Oswaldo Cabrera, who continues his hot start in the big leagues.
Yeah, Cabrera's first 3-hit game of his MLB career. Donaldson, it's kind of weird. I looked at his numbers, his splits.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to just, even no matter what team he's on, in Oakland, he always seems to rake. It's kind of weird. I think he was hitting like 350 in his career games in Oakland. So I think he just loves playing there.
Yeah, maybe it's just something about the place. I might be the only fan of it, but,
Yeah,
to each their own.
it's not really any better than Tropicana Field. But
Friday night, another Yankee victory, 3-2, a little bit closer. Garrett Cole picked up the win, 10-6 now on the year for him. A 3.31 ERA. JP Sears took the loss, 5-1, his first loss on the year. ERA 2.28. Wandy Peralta picked up the save, his third on the year. We'll obviously touch more on this situation as it kind of evolves out here within the next. It's going to be really coming few hours, more or less. We'll touch more on that in the news and notes portion of it. Garrett Cole, 7 1/3 inning in, 3 hits, and earned run, 11 Ks. Really, this was a much-needed start both longevity-wise and performance-wise from Cole that the Yankees got on Friday night.
Yeah, and he finally got some run support. That's been an issue with him over his last few outings. And obviously Aaron Judge, from that big swing there, was a difference in the game. I mean, the offense kind of went quiet. And as you're going to mention, it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, so you mentioned Judge went 1 for 2, a home run, 3 walks in addition to the home run there, 3 RBIs and a run scored. Oswaldo Carrera, again, 3 for 4, hit a triple, scored as well. But, yeah, I mean, this was it felt like Friday night was a bit of a prelude for the rest of the weekend in a way.
Yeah, and of course, J.P. Sears, a former Yankee, was kind of shutting down the Yankees for a little bit, and Judge, put a good swing on a ball, and that was the difference in the game. But it just seems like all these former Yankee pitchers kind of just dominate the lineup. It's weird to see.
Yeah, so we'll jump ahead here to Saturday already, which final after 11, Oakland 3, the Yankees 2. Win goes to Joel Payamps. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that extremely wrong, so apologies to him. I know he's probably an avid listener. 3-3 on the year, 2.89 ERA. Lou Trevino took the loss out of the bullpen, 2-8, a 5.14 ERA. Tough spot for him, obviously. This game as a whole was just a tough spot across multiple baseball fronts for both teams. Domingo Germán picked up a no decision along the way, rather.
Should have been a win.
Yeah, 7 2/3, 3 hits, 5 Ks. This was by far and away probably his best start he's had in the better part of maybe 3 years when you look at it, borderline. And, of course, the Yankees, there's no run support for him there. It was just a wacky game. Oswaldo Cabrera went 1 for 4 with a double. Benintendi 0 for 4 with a run and stolen base. The ending of this game, more or less, really not so much the ending. Extra innings, 10th and 11th, were just absolute chaos and wackiness. In that sense, pure baseball moments. But heads-up stuff by really Benintendi in a game where we saw, again, a little bit of the base-running blunders kind of pop up for the Yankees.
Yeah, there was some of those, but I thought when the Yankees took a 2-0 lead in the 10th that they'd be able to hold it, but Ron Marinaccio, probably his worst outing of the year.
I wouldn't even say that. Not to interrupt.
Well, he hasn't allowed a run, or he hasn't allowed 2 runs in a game since April.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that's his worst outing.
Well, in that sense, yeah.
And I don't know. They had 1 hit through 11 innings against what I call a AAA team. It's not acceptable. I don't know. It was just like you said, a weird game, and it got even more frustrating the following day.
Yeah. So I want to continue on the Saturday front for just a minute because. I don't know. There were a couple interesting spots. The only reason why I don't know if I can fully say it was like a Marinaccio. What
they didn't lose because of him.
Well,
I'm just saying he had one of his worst outings because that's true.
I don't know if you. Well, yeah. I mean, from the statistical front, for me though, I put more of the blame on Boone actually in this situation. They pull, in my mind, they pull Luisaga in a really interesting spot. I didn't think they needed to pull him, but they do to put in Marinaccio. And borderline in the same situation that they pulled Luisaga in to put in Marinaccio, they left him out there. It's just that the end result in this situation was more detrimental gameplay-wise and obviously to Marinaccio.
Yeah, see, I'm a little different. I know, obviously different moves could have happened, but the pitching to me wasn't the reason. I mean, 1 hit through 11 innings was the reason for me.
No, I absolutely. I'm not disagreeing there by any stretch.
At the same point, you don't really expect Ron Marinaccio to, struggle like the way he did. He couldn't find the strike zone, and then he fell behind, and then he just served up the home run. It was just a tough night. I guess those happen, but on the offense side of the ball, you have to have more than 1 hit.
Yeah.
That's 100%. Deserving to lose.
100%. And then in the deserving to lose category, Sunday was yesterday a 4-1 Oakland victory over the Yankees. Adrian Martinez picks up the win for Oakland, 3-3, a 5.28 ERA for him. Clark Schmidt, first start since being recalled back up to the Yankees, takes a loss, 5-3, a 2.89 ERA for him. AJ Puck picked up the save for Oakland, his 4th. Greg Wessert, more on him in a moment because I do want to broaden the discussion on him a little bit. 2 innings and 3 Ks. Kyle Higashioka went 1 for 3 with an RBI, and then Aaron Hicks went 1 for 2, a walk, and scored the little run. So Schmidt really came down to me. It was really, the first inning was rough for him, as was the third. But look, he kept him in. It was a tough spot. We were kind of wondering how the Sunday game was going to play out for the Yankees. Opted to go the Clark Schmidt route, and just no offensive support for him.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I think he allowed 8 hits in this game. To me, that's so weird with the stuff that he has. Like, I don't know if he is maybe tipping his pitches sometimes. I know guys can struggle, but like, it just doesn't seem like with that lineup that he would give up 8 hits.
Well, it's also his first start in about 3 or 4 weeks, dating back to when he was back at Scranton.
Yeah, I just think he didn't have his stuff, or he was tipping pitches. It was just I don't know, a rough day. But anyways, they weren't going to win. They scored 1 run.
Right. Now, not to say it called the shot on him being called up at some point here, but Greg Wessert gets to call up over the weekend. Kind of helped that Scranton was over in Omaha this past week, so it made everything a little bit easier. But the big league club got the first viewing of regular season Greg Wessert. Obviously, he was in spring training this year, but rough go of things to get things out of the gate for him a little bit over the weekend, getting going in his first performance, right? Hit by pitch balk, another balk, but really settled in Sunday anyway to give the Yankees a solid 2 innings of work.
Obviously, you expect a guy like that to be nervous, but I mean, I thought after he hit the leadoff batter that he would settle in a little bit, but that just wasn't the case. I was thinking about this. Like, what if his major league debut was at Yankee Stadium with a way bigger crowd?
Yeah.
Like, I thought he'd be able to kind of settle in with the Oakland crowd, not a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just I wasn't worried though at all. And then as you're gonna mention, yesterday he looked fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it really did. It was an interesting Yankee for weekend for the Yankees across multiple fronts. We'll jump in pretty much with our news and notes now at this point officially. Do want to start with what ended up being the headline grabber really on Saturday, and to a degree on Sunday as kind of the internet does its thing. So Aroldis Chapman was placed on the 15-day injured list. No official reason came out right away with it until Boone had his presser before the game on Saturday. Came out that Chapman's dealing with a leg infection that came from a recent tattoo appointment that obviously did not go according to plan. I chuckle. I'm not going to be one of the fans who sit here and think that he should have waited to the offseason to get a tattoo. Athletes get tattoos in season in different sports all the time. To that end, obviously, I don't know. I don't know where he went and got the tattoo. I don't know. What I do know is sometimes these things just kind of happen in a way. Could be a non-baseball related, obviously, thing here where it's just a dirty needle or something like that happened, or a not properly clean one. But certainly not ideal for what is going to be an important stretch here for the Yankees getting into September and the final stretch run of the regular season.
yeah, and as Aaron Boone mentioned, it's obviously a personal choice, but can you imagine if this popped up in a postseason run, and when he was throwing the ball well, and he's missing time because of this, that would be very frustrating. But he did say yesterday that he's gotten a tattoo before during the season and never had a problem.
Right.
So obviously he just went to the wrong place, but I mean, not acceptable still.
And, a thing, too, is obviously, a lot of times leg infections don't amount to too much. Obviously, the extremes here, right, are bacterially, you're dealing with potential really extreme stuff. Obviously, you mentioned Boone. He did say yesterday that he already is improving upon what is going on. So hopefully everything continues at least progressing to a point with Chapman that he can rejoin the team right away pretty much.
Yeah, and it was retroactive, I think the 23rd.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't pitched in 4 or 5 games.
Yeah. And it became a point where I know a lot of people were kind of speculating, is this where we just kind of have a Chapman designated for assignment announcement?
That's the thing, even if he was available, they were staying away from him when he was. They didn't trust him in high leverage spots. He wasn't even getting middle relief innings. It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting spot. I'm intrigued to see how they use him, especially with, more or less Clay Holmes. This is where we'll jump into this. Clay Holmes is going to be back today, the way it sounds.
Yep. That'll be a pretty good addition to the bullpen. There's been a lot of moving pieces in the bullpen. You know, guys with like Wilkes-Barre, Greg Weissert. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries, though. They definitely miss Michael King and Chad Green right now. That's for sure.
All right. Well, some other news and notes here. Catcher Jose Trevino is considered day-to-day after being hit by a pitch in his foot. X-rays came back negative per Boone. Boone even said he probably is at a point where he'd be used in a more than emergency type situation, which means he'd have no problem just using him as, say, a pinch hitter if it was just a normal standard spot as opposed to last man on the bench type scenario. So expect probably to see Trevino back. I don't know about maybe necessarily tonight, but certainly at some point in the series with the Angels would be my bet.
Thank God he's okay, because I wasn't really looking forward to having Kyle Higashioka and Rob Brantley as the catchers.
I take great offense to that, to being part of the Rob Brantley fan
At this
club.
point, Rob Brantley probably would have started because
Right.
Kyle Higashioka's been rough.
Yeah, I mentioned Clay Holmes. I did throw a successful live batting practice session in Oakland on Friday. Left-hand pitcher Nestor Cortez was placed on the 15-day injured list over the weekend with a left groin strain that was retroactive to, I believe it was last Wednesday or something like that. Kind of apparently through the pain a little bit in his last start last weekend, and we have now gotten to this point. So hopefully everything goes good. Apparently they're not anticipating this being a very long duration on the IL for Nestor.
I just can't believe he said that this happened like the first or second batter, and he went on to pitch 6 innings of 1-run ball.
Right.
Like
Nestor's a dog.
It's crazy to me.
Right-hand pitcher Luis Severino threw a live batting practice session on yesterday and is expected to start his rehab assignment this Friday. It also coincides with the Yankees being in Tampa, so I would expect to do some speculation here. Probably see him at Single-A Tampa for rehab. Speaking of that, left-hand pitcher Zach Britton exited his rehab assignment early at Tampa on Saturday, calling it a non-arm injury. Apparently, it's kind of come out via Zach Britton and I think it was internet sleuths that he kind of had some cramping going on in his, let's call it, the glute, the butt. So quite an interesting spot for Zach Britton, but good to see. Obviously, it wasn't an arm-related issue.
Yeah, the man knows how to scare people, though. I saw like a little clip of it, and he just like dropped the ball and kicked it. So immediately you're probably thinking arm injury, and thank God he updated everyone on Twitter after.
Yeah. I mean, even said it was more or less just like, yeah, I mean, you have it up, Nate, I'm all good. So, obviously, not a big deal for Zach. I know he kind of went a little bit savage mode on there for no reason, chose violence, but I love it. Outfielder Harrison Bader was transferred to the 60-day injured list, but has started baseball activities. Take with that what you will. Apparently, he is moving to being out in the boot, more or less. Left-hand pitcher, Yankee legend Chasen Shreve is back with the Pinstripes in the organization. He has been signed to a minor league contract. Expect to see him at AAA, as Luis Hill has been recalled from Scranton and transferred to the 60-day injured list. This has freed up an extra roster spot. So left-hand pitcher Anthony Banda could be signed to a major league contract. Banda has had work this year with Toronto most notably. So good to see that. And he is a AL East person aficionado, pitched with Tampa last year as well. I believe he actually started the year technically this year with the Pirates, if I remember right. So he's been around, but an extra arm, a little bit of depth wouldn't hurt the Yankees as they finish the West Coast swing.
Yeah, I actually reached out to Shreve yesterday. I can't tell you how excited he is to be back.
Yeah.
He obviously loved his time here. If you remember, 4 years ago, he was just the odd man out. That was honestly the only reason why his Yankee career kind of ended.
Right.
But it's cool to see him back. I always liked him. I don't know if he'll be called up ever, but I mean, injuries do happen, so we could see him.
Right. The Yankees, as I mentioned, they finished their West Coast swing in Los Angeles against the Angels, technically Orange County. It'll be a big 3-game set here before the Yankees head back east. Probably bigger than what they had hoped. Yankees tonight, 9:38 first pitch.
Love it.
On the Yes Network, Frankie Montas, 4-10 on the year, a 3.84 ERA against Jose Suarez, 4-6, a 4.19 ERA. Tuesday, a 9:38 first pitch on the official channel of Kyle Evans, the Amazon Prime Video Network. Jamison Tyone gets the start, 12-4, a 3.89 ERA. He'll be going against Mike Mayers, 1-0 on the year, a 4.46 ERA after pretty much being down in Salt Lake and being in the bullpen all year. You good, Kyle?
I just don't get it. It turned into a Friday thing with Amazon Prime, and now we're doing Tuesdays.
Yep.
Like,
Wednesday, at least it's on yes. Another 9:38 first pitch. Garrett Cole, 10-6, a 3.31 ERA. He'll be going against Patrick Sandoval, 4-9, a 3.05 ERA. So the Yankees get a pretty soft spot in the Angel rotation. Obviously, they avoid Ohtani.
Angels are coming off a sweep, though.
Yeah.
Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Blue Jays were hot.
So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this, but if there's
Yankees get swapped, I would say.
and they're going against interim manager, former Yankee third base coach Phil Nevin. So
That guy's crazy.
yeah, so there's a lot of factors going into this game series. I think I'd be very satisfied if they do the series and take it 2-1.
Fine, I'll go ahead. Yes, they'll win the series, but I'm not too confident.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, the Yankees.
Because these pitching stats don't obviously matter. Look what the A's had.
Yeah.
The last 2 days, the A's have had guys with 6 ERAs, and
Right.
they've just shut down the Yankees. So.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, I don't know what to make of. Look, I mean, the Yankees are playing 500 ball. I mean, they're playing very average baseball right now, and that's opposed. And we'll discuss it right now. You look at the Mets, who they go into this series against Colorado 4 games, and they did what they had to do.
And the Yankees didn't.
Right. I mean, now obviously you would prefer to sweep, but you took three of 4 from Colorado, a team that you should do that against, and they did it with authority for the most part, I'd say.
And that's the thing that people say. Good teams find ways to, beat teams that they should beat, and Yankees really haven't been doing it.
Yep. So Thursday night, a 3-1 Met victory. Jacob deGrom picks up the win for the Mets, 3-1, a 2.15 ERA. Ryan Feltner picks up the loss, 2-5, a 5.87 ERA for him. Adam Ottavino took the save, his first. DeGrom, 6 innings, 3 hits, an earned run and 9 Ks. Pete Alonso, 2 for 4, a home run, 2 RBIs and a run scored. And Brandon Nimmo went 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Look, your main players came to play for the Mets that day, obviously, right? DeGrom obviously had a classic DeGrom outing. Pete Alonso did polar bear things. And then obviously Brandon Nimmo, who's been there all year, just chipped himself on in and got on pace.
And hey, at least they scored for DeGrom. I think what was his last outing? He didn't get any run support, so that's cool to see. But their other guy, as you're going to mention later, he didn't get any run support.
Well, yeah. So well, that was yesterday. We still have 2 more games to get through, obviously, before we get to that. But Friday night, a 7-6 Met victory. Edwin Diaz picked up the win. Used to saying save with him. Picked up the win, his 3rd on the year. Moves a 3.1 ERA. Daniel Bard takes a loss blown hold for him. A 3.4 now on the year. 2.38 ERA. Chris Bassett got the start. No decision. 7 1/3, 8 hits, 4 were earned, and 1 strikeout. Obviously, not his most dominating performance, but clearly a performance that he was able to go a long distance, which is sometimes more crucial than anything else, and kept the Mets well within reach at any point if things really got sideways.
And if I remember right, I think the Mets were trailing in this game, and then they kind of rallied back.
Yeah, big double for Mark Canha in the top of the 9th.
That's
Tied
right.
up.
Yep.
Yeah, so obviously Marcano is the next one on the key performers list here, as he went 2 for 3 with 2 doubles, collectively a hit by pitch and 3 RBIs and a run scored. So, and then obviously the walk-off hit came from Pete Alonso, 2 for 5 with an RBI, bringing in Canha. So, again, kind of like one of your typical players, kind of came out to play and show up for the Mets, but this was a type of game where, look at the contrast from the Yankees. I don't know if the Yankees get it done, but the Mets prove once again that they have no problem go ahead and pushing through and getting across the finish line.
Yeah, and Mark Canha, like that, I feel like his name's been mentioned over the last month. I think it's kind of started at that Philadelphia series, big hits, and he's continuing to come through, and it's good to see.
It ended up being, he obviously Chris Bassett was the main piece of that trade during the offseason, but he's proving to be equally just as big, if not bigger, contributor at certain points right now for the Mets.
Probably thrilled not to be in Oakland right now.
Well, I think that's beside the point.
That's the thing, too. He's
I think the only person thrilled to be in Oakland is Shane Langeliers.
playing well and hitting well. So
Saturday, a 3-0 Met victory. David Peterson got the win, 7-3, a 3.21 ERA. Kyle Freeland the loss, 7-9, a 4.88 ERA for him. And Adam Ottavino picked up the save as second. Peterson went 6 innings, 4 hits, and 7 Ks. Peterson actually a little bit of a not a true revenge game, but I came to learn over the weekend from Colorado. Pitched obviously, not obviously, pitched against his best friend in Kyle Freeland, to the point that him and Peterson and his wife were in Freeland's wedding.
Oh wow.
So I know they asked him post game if there was any sort of you get more pumped up against Colorado, and he said, nah, not really, but he said it was cool facing his best friend in Kyle Freeland like that.
I'm not gonna lie, I cannot believe David Peterson is throwing the ball this well. I mean, from what I remember early on, he just wasn't good. So it's kind of weird to see. I don't know what he's doing differently, but he's been really good the second half of the year.
Well, he said that he's changed the way he throws his changeup. That's part of it. They've been working with a new grip. I know. I'm not the ideal pitching coach here, so we go down Paul Russo's coaching corner here for a hot second, but I don't know if he's gone from more of a circle change style to a more, say, split style or whatever, but the way I usually prefer seeing, I prefer a circle change, just a little bit more movement on it, but look, he said he's been trying to work on it, and maybe that explains why when he was at Syracuse past couple starts, things hadn't gone exactly right because he was just trying to retool a little bit.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see that he has a 3.21 ERA. That's, obviously really good. He doesn't start a whole lot. He's an option back and forth, but still, during his time here, he just seems to be very good.
Yeah, and more importantly, I guess to that end, he did not get sent back down after the start. They have kept him up on the roster, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. I know he's not up in the rotation against the Dodgers, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but certainly something to keep an eye on. Brandon Nimmo in Saturday's game, 2 for 3, a home run, a double, a walk, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. And Mark Canha, 2 for 3, a double, hit by pitch, and a run. So Canha again showing up, as well as obviously Brandon Nimmo really pretty much supplying the offense the Mets needed.
I think Jeff McNeil cooled down now that I think about it. I haven't been seeing his name lately, and I saw he...
To be fair, McNeil did chip in a hit yesterday, one of their 3.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, he was in the box score all the time, and I haven't really seen him lately. But, everyone goes through, a little cold stretch, but...
Yeah, and then speaking of cold stretches, yesterday's game was a 1-0 Colorado victory as German Marquez picked up the win for Colorado, 7-10 on the year for him, a 4.97 ERA. Max Scherzer, the loss, 9-4 now, 2.27 ERA. Daniel Bard picked up the save for Colorado, his 27th. Scherzer, 7 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, and 11 Ks. I didn't realize that he was Jacob deGrom in disguise on Sunday.
Yeah, it felt like a Jacob deGrom outing. I thought the Mets were still going to score, though, at least a run. I thought a 9th-inning rally was coming, but they fell short.
Yeah, Pete Alonso chipped in for one of the hits, 1 for 3 in a walk, as did Brett Beatty, 1 for 3. I mentioned McNeil, so look, games like that do happen, but to me, the series as a whole, like I said, it's really the difference between a good team like the Mets right now and a team like the Yankees just kind of playing average baseball.
Yeah.
They went out, did what they had to do, distanced themselves, especially in division because the Braves got swept in St. Louis over the weekend. And that's big in the division, right? Gives you more of a breathing room arm again if you're the Mets that say a game like Sunday does happen, once every 5 days or something like that where baseball just kind of baseballs, and that happens. And, the more breathing room you have at this time of year, the better.
Yeah, I still can't believe the Mets won both of those games last week against the Yankees in the Subway. Or did I say win? I meant lost.
Right.
Lost both games. I really never expected it.
Right. All right, let's move into news and notes because a couple interesting things here. Eduardo Escobar and Tommy Hunter were both activated off the injured list. Brett Beatty was the name kind of circulating to see potentially sent back down to Syracuse. That didn't happen. The corresponding move was second baseman Yomer Sanchez being designated for assignment during that. So Brett Beatty, it's a discussion that we did have on here about a week and a half ago. What happens with Beatty when Escobar comes back? They're going to keep him up for the time being.
Yeah, and I think Escobar will probably face righties.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Well, I'm imagining it'd be flipped. In all honesty, Beatty's a left-handed hitter.
oh yeah, I misspoke again.
Right.
My bad.
You're good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm assuming they'll kind of platoon there. But yeah, I didn't think it would have been the right move to send Beatty down.
No, I think Escobar too, because he's a switcher. You might see him really get into that DH role a little bit more as well. I know Vogie chipped in over the weekend here and there a little bit, but he certainly has cooled off over the past week or so since his hot start, since coming over. Plus, Escobar does give you a little bit of leeway. Obviously, a third baseman, but in a pinch can play second base if you really need him to. So, not a big deal there. And Tommy Hunter, big deal coming back. Obviously, another arm for the bullpen.
Yeah, nice veteran arm there.
Drew Smith has began to throw off a mound. Other more good news, pitching news and notes here. Carlos Carrasco will throw a simulated game today, and Tyler Maygill will be throwing live batting practice today. So some bigger arms, once again, getting ready and ramped up, ready to go for the Mets.
Yeah, it feels like they're going to need a lot of arms back at the right time, like literally in the month of September, late September. Just perfect timing for, the postseason.
Left-hand pitcher Nate Fisher was outright to AAA Syracuse over the weekend. Left-hand pitcher Rob Zatransny was claimed off of waivers by the Los Angeles Angels. Catcher Michael Perez and right-hand pitcher Connor Gray were both optioned to AAA Syracuse over the weekend. Mets day off today. Then they have 3 against the Dodgers Tuesday through Thursday this week. Dodgers, all to be announced starters for them. As Clayton Kershaw gets ready to come back into the rotation here. So I'm assuming the Mets will probably see him somewhere, but that's kind of put their rotation a little bit of question.
So they're going to a 6-man rotation for a little bit?
Yeah. So be interested to see there. Tuesday, tomorrow night, 7:10 first pitch on SNY. Taijuan Walker will get the nod for the Mets, 10-3, a 3.38 ERA. Wednesday at 7:10. Also on SNY is Jacob deGrom Day, 3-1, a 2.15 ERA for him. And then Thursday, 4:10 on SNY. Chris Bassett will get the nod for the Mets, 11-7, a 3.34 ERA. Big series for the Mets here, right? Dodgers are pretty much cruise control the rest of the way if they really wanted to. They have the lowest magic number in the big leagues right now at 16 to clinch their playoff spot. I believe actually for them it's more clinch the division at this point than anything else because the Padres have Padred as they tend to usually do at this point. That being said, this is probably going to be the Mets' toughest test that they will face in the stretch run at this point. That being said, I have full faith. I have full confidence. I am going to go a 2-1 series victory for the Mets.
I'm going to say a Dodgers sweep.
Wow.
And I 100% believe that. This is no joke this time.
All right. So we will move on then quickly to our minor league teams as we're running up against the clock to a degree. Rochester dropped their series in Indianapolis against Nate's Fighting Indianapolis Indians. There's a 14-4 loss for Rochester. Not ideal. Lucius Fox hit a home run. Luis Garcia on rehab assignment went 2 for 4 with a double, and Trace Perea picked up an RBI-based knock. Friday was another 9-1 loss against the Indians. John Nagowski went 1 for 4, a double, a walk, and RBI. Donovan Casey picked up a hit and a run, and Andrew Stevenson had a hit and a walk. Saturday, 5-3, Rochester dropped that game. Jacob Liu, 2 for 4, a double, and RBI and a walk. John Nagowski again had an RBI base hit, and Andrew Stevenson went 2 for 5 with a run and a stolen base. That game was a bit of a tough one, honestly, for Rochester. They kind of came storming back a little bit, but to that end, Sunday, a 5-2 Rochester victory. Jordan Weems picked up the win out of the bullpen. Daniel Ponce de Leon had the start, no decision, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, a walk, and 7 Ks. And Rochester scored all 5 of their runs in the 9th inning. A nice comeback victory. Andrew Stevenson went 1 for 5 with an RBI. But the big guy here was Adrian Sanchez, 1 for 4, but 3 RBI double in the 9th is what broke open the game for Rochester. So, that being said, I know the records and the game, stat lines can say some stuff differently. But, again, you look at some positives. A guy like Daniel Ponce de Leon who, at this point, he's not going to really necessarily be on Washington's radar maybe for long-term wise, but this is a lot of it for him now is prove it to show that, there's a reason why he was a top prospect with St. Louis for a while. And a game like that yesterday for him is perfect. a guy like Adrian Sanchez who, has been at the big league level before, now kind of trapped at AAA to a degree, showing that he can still get stuff done like that. I think it hasn't been discussed enough, at least with us, but a guy like John Nogowski who, had his moment last year with Pittsburgh, got released by them, finishes the year in Korea last season, comes back to the U.S., starts the year in the Atlanta system, gets dropped, Washington brings him on, starts at Harrisburg, and in the month that he's been at Rochester has probably been their most consistent position player. It's good to see, to me, what I'm going to call some journeyman guys kind of picking up the pace here now after we saw that really the prospects kind of start and carry the torch for Rochester. And now it's these guys who, like I said, it might be a little bit of prove-it stuff for them that kind of are doing it. But, that's needed right now for a team that, spun the wheels obviously with a losing streak and now are trying to really end the season on a good note.
Yeah, you said it. A lot of good things are happening right now, even though, sometimes they're not winning games. But, John Nogowski, every time it seems like I write a recap, he's part of it. And then Ponce de Leon, it seems like he's been throwing the ball really well every outing, too. They're getting, good stuff from some of their players, and it just sometimes they fall a little short by 2 or 3 runs, sometimes 1.
All right, news and notes. Tyler Clippard was outrighted from Washington and has since been granted his release. Right-hand pitchers Corey Abbott and Tommy Romero were optioned from Washington. And formally, Cade Cavalli was selected by Washington. He had his first start Friday night.
And it was an ugly one.
Not ideal. Not ideal, to the point that it did win me some money taking Cincinnati as an underdog because I didn't understand how, but, stuff happens. Good news is, though, Rochester is home this week as they play the world-famous Toledo Mud Hens.
Wait, you bet against friend of the program, Cade Cavalli?
I did. Huh. Scared money don't make money, Nate.
See where your allegiance lies.
Oh, yeah, my allegiance is to green. Rochester home against the world-famous Toledo Mud Hens this week. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, lunchbox giveaway. Howard Johnson making an autograph appearance. Wednesday is a shirt giveaway. Thursday is college night. Friday, Cocos Locos Cup giveaway and fireworks. Saturday, Wizards night and fireworks. And then Sunday, they're giving away a Spikes bobblehead. So make sure you get out to Frontier Field for that. Syracuse, meanwhile, very similar to what happened with Rochester. Thursday, lost 9-1 to Worcester. Nick Denny able to pick up the lone RBI on the day there. But me and Nate saw what was just an absolute rocket from Connor Wong. Friday, a 12-8 loss. If there's a positive, Jose Rodriguez pitched really well. This didn't get any help. He went 5 innings, no decision, 3 hits, and a run, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. JT Riddle went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Mark Ventios continued his hot bat, 1 for 4, a double, a walk, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Saturday, the S-Mets got their lone victory on the weekend. Jordan Yamamoto picked up the win. Locke St. John picked up the save. Daniel Palka went 1 for 2 with a home run, a walk, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. Dom Smith, 1 for 3, 2 walks, 2 RBIs, and a run. Terrence Gore, proving to wreak havoc on the base paths once again, 0 for 1 in his lone at bat, came in as a pinch runner, walked, scored a run, and had 2 stolen bags. And then yesterday on Sunday, a 7-5 loss to the Who Sox. Nick Denny once again, 2 for 4, a home run, RBI, and a run scored. Khalil Lee went 1 for 3 with a walk, 2 RBIs and a stolen bag, and Travis Jankowski went 2 for 5 with a run scored. Obviously, bad taste in the mouth on Thursday, but, Syracuse hung tough the whole weekend after that, at the very least. Just can't seem to get everybody at least on the same page, but again, a lot of these guys, at least for them now, it's a lot of the young guys really kind of stepping up and doing the front loading and work for them.
Yeah, they've been struggling a little bit as for, winning games. They're still getting good things from their players, though, kind of like Rochester. But, I did just look. They're, second to last in the East.
Yep, still 9th.
So, 16 games out. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like they're playing as well as they were, what was it, July?
Yeah.
Late June, July?
Yeah.
In terms of, winning games. Yeah. But their players are still playing well.
Yeah.
So.
They will be getting at least some up on the pitching front. Eric Orzi will begin a rehab assignment with Single A St. Lucie. However, a negative here. Travis Blankenhorn was placed on the 7-day injured list. Got pulled from the game Saturday, had 1 at bat. the S-Mets will be away all week in Scranton as they take on the Rail Riders. So keep an eye on there. Who knows? Maybe we'll take a trip down to Moosic, Pennsylvania to see the S-Mets play. But anyway, that does it for Concrete Jungle. We will be back on Thursday this week, 11 a.m. Any parting thoughts before we get out of here, guys?
I don't think I have anything.
Nate, words of wisdom?
Good time up in Syracuse on Thursday night, Paul. Thanks for taking me up that way. Hot dogs were good. Andronic ales were good.
Yep.
Good company. So unfortunately, the
Most ice
outcome
cream.
wasn't what we wanted.
The most ice cream you ever had in your life.
Holy cow, that was a lot of ice cream. It was Kyle. Like this whole thing was filled up.
So Nate, I'm in line for ice cream. Quick story before we get out. Nate's like, here, I want a helmet Sunday. You know the little helmets that they give you, right? I'm like, dude, they're out of helmets. Like I've told, and of course, Nate didn't hear me. But he goes, just give me the ice cream. I'm like, okay, do you want anything on it? He goes, no, just the ice cream. I'm like, all right. So I ordered my item. I got a cookie sundae, and I go, I also need to get a helmet sundae, but just with cookie dough ice cream. That's all I want. Like, all right. And then with no helmets, they were serving the ice cream in the smaller, like, to-go containers that I know, like, around here that you'll see, say, something like a piece of, like, say, cheesecake served in type thing. And this thing was literally packed with cookie dough ice cream, like, spilling out the sides. Like, this thing was a solid, like, 5-pound rock.
It was incredibly good. I just couldn't eat it all.
You took a dent out of it, though. I'll give you credit. So,
4 hot dogs down, some Adirondack ales,
4
and some ice cream.
Glizzies. Yeah. It was a perfect baseball evening at MBT Bank Stadium.
Successful Dollar Thursday. That's what matters.
100%. All right, so we'll be back Thursday, 11 a.m. Can catch us live on YouTube or catch up anytime. Catch us on Anchor, Spotify, other major podcasting platforms. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll see you Thursday.